Christoph, the reason that Volkswagen is up, although GM, Tesla and some of the other car makers are higher as well, is because Volkswagen sells just under 40% of its vehicles in China. How would this impact all of the car makers?
Yeah, this would potentially be very significant positive news, basically for the entire sector. You mentioned Volkswagen. Yeah, they sell around 40% of the global deliveries in China, but you can actually add General Motors to that as well. BMW, Daimler, they all stand to benefit from the tax cut if it would be confirmed.
Christoph, how much will this offset the trade story that we're seeing around the auto sector at the moment?
That is a big the big question at the moment, because there does seem to be clearly some sort of link between the cooling of the Chinese auto market in the wake of this of the trade spat with the U.S. administration, with the import tariffs that have been imposed. So I think the big question that investors will look out for is that even if there were tax cuts, how would that sort of impact underlying demand over time?
Now, the current tax is 10%, and sources tell us that would be reduced to 5%. Would the US be forced then to respond?
Yeah, the exact tax cuts, as you mentioned earlier, have not been confirmed yet. But depending on the exact rules that are or the exact decision that will be made, it might have a pretty variant effect on the individual car makers, because it's mainly targeted at engines of up to 1.6 liters. So that's going to be a big boost for the volume manufacturing segment specifically.
Christoph, is that why the OEMs are trading higher today? The names that we all know, the Volkswagens and the Fords and the GMs. But if you take a look at the Tier 1, Tier 2 suppliers, the Continentals, the Valios, etc., that's where the real gains are being seen in the share price improvements. Is that kind of, just walk us through why that is? Why is it not the OEMs that are getting the benefit?
Well, both will get the benefit eventually, both the suppliers and the manufacturers as well. But I think the gains were probably bigger in the car parts maker segment, because that segment has really been beaten very, very hard in recent weeks. If you remember, we had like a slew of profit warnings. We had 2 profit warnings from Continental, 1 from Valeo. The stocks really went down across the entire sector. So I think from a sector point of view, there has definitely been more like catch-up potential on the supplier side compared to the manufacturer side.